you can't find the fire, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out. And mountains, we can walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the age, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out. And mountains, we can walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the age, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Mountains, bring it to its feet. Mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the age, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. Yeah, we will rise, we will rise, and we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up, Yeah. I will rise 1,000 times again. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome again to our live session. This week's topic is when we react immediately to emotions. It can be a mistake. As usual, I am Christine Nichols, and with me is Natalia Coggins. I'm going to start by reading about emotions and when we react immediately to emotions, whether good or bad emotions. Sometimes it can be a mistake. Emotional weakness is not when we are void of emotion or emotionally drained. It refers to when we give our emotions so much power over our decision making. I'm going to repeat that because that is very important. It refers, this is emotional weakness. Emotional weakness refers to when we give our emotions so much power over our decision making, over what makes sense, and over that tingling voice in our head, or probably the gut feeling that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. When we do that, when we give our emotion power, I'm sure all of us have done that at some point in time. When we give our emotions power, we are rendered hopeless and must go along with them. The outcome is even more distasteful when these emotions are fear, rejection, and low self-esteem. Many times situations keep repeating themselves in our lives. Many times, many times situations keep repeating themselves in our lives and we are not clear why. Why do we keep falling in the same area? Why do we keep attracting the same negative energy, the same negative drama? It's because we keep making decisions based on emotions, which are driven by fear, rejection, and low self worth. So, how do we break the cycle? How do we break the cycle of giving our emotions so much power over our decision making?
You start with this one first. You start with this one.
As always,
I gotta take this one like right out, like totally out. And I'm guilty for that.
like you're guilty for that?
Yeah, I'm guilty for that.
Well, I was guilty for that
I
as
still
well.
guilty for it. I still act on emotionally like responding to people and stuff like that. I still struggling with it. I be honest, I still struggle with it. So sometimes I gotta like try not to respond to the same thing.
All of this is a part of the healing process. And in the part of the healing process, we have to know when to put our emotions under our decision making. All of us at some point of time had let our emotions make the decision for us. I don't know if you understand when I say that. Instead of we making the decision for ourselves or what was right, what was wrong, what we should have done, or what we should not have done, we let our emotions make the decisions for us. Take for instance, you spoke a couple Sundays ago about your experiences with probably an ex where when he already told you about your situation, about his situation, and your emotion made the decision for you because when it was time to go, you did not go based on your emotion. You still stood in the relationship, although you know what you should have done, what you should not have done. So our emotions sometimes make a decision for us, and we need to learn to control our emotions.
Like that, like how you're still struggling with it. Where my emotions are still making decisions for me, although I know what's right from wrong and what I should be doing and moving along the process.
Anyone on life can also tell us if they are struggling with their emotions and making the decisions for them. When you sit back and you look at some situations in your life where you know, I should have done this different, I should have done that different, I should have left a long time ago, but based on your emotions, you decide to stay for whatever reason. That is when we realize and we know that our emotions controls a very large aspect of our life. How we break the cycle is by breaking the hold that they have on us. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy to break the yoke because we all have experience with an egg, and an egg have two parts of it. It have the white and it have the yolk.
Right.
And sometimes when we just want to get the white alone, that is difficult. No matter how perfect we try, sometimes it is very difficult to just take out the yolk and leave the white. Even when we do that, sometimes some of the yolk remain is in the egg white. So it's not going to be easy to break the decision making of emotions out of our life. If it was ever so easy, I'm sure everyone would have been living different, a perfect life.
Like able to break off ties, soul ties.
Will not make mistakes that we will be able to look back at.
So you would say soul ties have something to do with it?
Yeah, soul tie is also one of the I wish to talk about soul tie. What I wanted to do today was to start with letting everyone get a piece of paper. That's what I want to start with today, but we ran late today. And this is what I want to do in the middle of this session. I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen. You may need two pieces of paper when I get to it. So get two pieces of paper and a pen. And we're going to do some destroying some yokes today from our emotions. So that our emotions alone cannot have the power over our decision making. Sometimes the yolks, such as saltines, become great around our necks because of an event that happened way back in our childhood days.
I can't recently,
What do you want to say about that?
I have a soul that I would try. I want to break, like totally want to break. And I be honest, Molly.
Okay.
Totally honest. I have a soul that's still playfully me.
So this is from childhood days?
No, this is recently.
Oh. She said recently.
Recently. It's not childhood days because we would have gone to the shows and they would have like totally cut off things that was toxic to me. But then there's always got this one soul toy that like relationship ways, like previously that you're still finding that there's still a connection. Even if you go through the process of everything that the world or we have spoken about on here, you're still finding it as a struggle.
I agree.
You know your worth. Yes, I know my worth. I have dated so much that I have ever been in my past years. You know what the person gives, so you're not in an illusion world. You're actually know the person, the good and the bad. But it's just that soul to like you're still finding yourself answering the calls when I call. Even if you're blocked off on certain things and they'll still reach out other ways, you're still revisiting or you shouldn't revisit.
Well, if you revisit certain things, it is something inside of you and really not your person. So really, truly, you have to deal with yourself. You have to deal with your inner man, so that if the person decides to come around and message you, you wouldn't be able to go back and think about the past. So somehow it comes back to your inner self that you know how to deal with. It's not that the person did you this or that. When you are healed wholeheartedly, when you doubt with your inner man wholeheartedly, then you can speak to the person before even thinking aback about what happened with you all this and that. So sometimes it goes back to yourself. So yes, it's a soul tie, but it's still a soul tie because of you. So you have to deal with yourself internally.
I think I'll work on that.
When you deal with yourself internally, you don't need to block anyone. You don't need to delete anyone out of your life if you deal with yourself internally. Maybe we were told that we are ugly, worthless, or that no one will ever want us. That also is a soul type. That also is one of the yokes. That also is one of the yokes.
You need somebody tell you those things.
Are you hold on to it?
Oh, okay.
Then because of when you hold on to somebody telling you that you ugly, you worthless, and stuff like that, you hold on to it. That plays a huge part in your decision making. So sometimes you go somewhere, like we first started this show, and you say one time ago you would have wear this type of shirt.
Correct.
Because why? Because in your childhood days, someone told you was not worth it enough.
Right.
You did not look good enough to wear.
Correct.
So because of that, and all the words spoken to us and over us in the atmosphere, then that plays a very important part in our decision making and our emotions. We may not know it subconsciously, but unconsciously it plays an important because we are thinking, I can't wear this because somebody tell me I don't look good. And we always self-conscious about us because of what was speaking over us or towards us. So our emotion, that becomes an emotion, and that plays an important part in our life of what we can do, where we should go. Maybe we were rejected by a parent, a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friend, a church member, a relative, and we cannot figure out why. All we know is that we find ourselves at various points in our lives afraid and unsure of ourselves. We find ourselves settling for less than the best because we don't think we deserve the best. We make tremendous sacrifices for others because we fear losing them if we don't. We tolerate others' perception of our own value. And that's what emotional weakness do to us. We tolerate people's perception about us and our own value because we have never defined that this is for ourselves. You have anything to say?
Well, everything that you said, being honest with you, is true because, or at least I'm still struggling with the misconception of how people look at me. So I made horrible decisions when it comes to still keeping so close with.
You made immediately decision.
Yes, immediately.
So when the old person came back, you immediately block them. I don't know, you don't say that you block the person.
No, like when it first happened, like you block the person. Like me, like as time goes by, you still miss the person and stuff like that. But I'm just saying that's something that I guess everybody struggle with. If you're being honest with yourself, like it's hard to blank out what people say out to your head. Yes, yeah, yes. Over the years, you will know your value and your worth. But for me personally, I sometimes I would say sometimes things just pop up in your mind like you feel you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough. Especially when you're walking a journey of being single and you're asking yourself when nobody don't choose me and choose other people, right? So these are things that every day you gotta work on internally within yourself. So I just saying that yes, majority of us do on emotionally responding and not something that we know is not right. Without separating our emotions from it and making some solid decisions.
I agree. Let me share an experience with you. You know, I love sharing experience because people love to hear experiences. So let me share my own experience with how my emotional weakness played a part in one of my decision making, which was not a very good decision making, and it led me down a rough path and a rough journey. And a couple of years ago, you know, we all meet people online, and I met someone online, and it was a casual friendship, obviously, a casual friendship where we will talk every day and we will call each other every day. And the friendship grew over a year, 2 years, or what's not. And obviously, the person was not my type, but they showed an interest in me. Despite knowing of the relationship I was in, I was already in a relationship with someone at that point of time. And the person that I developed the casual relationship with, don't went out here. The person that I developed the casual relationship with, he became the listening ear for me when I needed someone. You know, sometimes in life we always need someone. We don't. An island is not an island by itself. It cannot stand alone. And somehow you always want someone, even they're just there to listen to read a little cry, a little tears. And at that point in time, the person was the listening ear for me. And he encouraged me to make decisions and feel like I was worth it to someone. Hi, Dexter. But he was nothing more than a friend. One day while I was still at work,
Right.
the person called to tell me he was standing outside of my office and he wanted me to come down and meet him. And it was that at that time it was a couple times we have met, but this was one of the surprise time, one of the first time he surprised me. And although I cannot understand why he wanted to surprise me, I was feeling a little bit jittery. As I opened the office door, he was standing with flowers in his hand. And I started to laugh. I started to feel more at ease and we chatted for a few moments before I returned to work. And that visit turned out to be the first of many surprise stops with the office. And whenever he came, he was not coming empty handed. So you know how the name is love to charm you. So whenever he comes to do a surprise visit or a capture a hello, he would come with some gift, a jewelry, flowers, anything, something small. He would always come to show a appreciation and a token. And being the woman I am, I accepted I accepted the gift graciously. And it felt good to be engaged with someone without any drama involved. And obviously my emotions take over. I started to react immediately to my emotions. And because he was so kind and so heartwarming, I started to involve him in my personal life. And because of my emotions, that made me make a mistake in the decision making. Since it's being heartwarming to me, so kind, I put him into my personal space and into my life and into probably my drama and everything. So normally he was not the person now to just be on his phone and say, yeah, you should have handled this different. He became someone even much closer. And that's when we all made those mistakes at some point in time when we let our emotions make decisions for us when who to let in our space and who not to let into our space. And at that point of time, while I was dealing with someone, because of my emotions, I was reacting to the person. Now, here's somebody on one side giving me all the heart, warming, the kindness, the gifts, and showing me with all the blessings.
Right.
Someone who I'm not involved with. And then here's the person I'm involved with on the other side who is doing nothing of church.
Right.
So obviously my emotions
And draw to the person that more give you that attention.
not only draw to the person that giving me attention, go help me to lash out on the other person who's not doing what the other person is doing. So our emotions sometimes cause us to make mistakes in our life. And because of my emotion and that experience, um, let's say it also allows you to destroy another relationship. Yeah, sometimes the relationship may not be one for you, but at that point of time, because of my emotion and I lash it out on that person, your emotion can cause a relationship to break up. I don't know what you want to say about that.
Well, I agree with everything that you say. As I said, for me, you're still going through that process. Like, now we gotta learn to separate your emotional side my right thinking of making proper decisions. And as you said before, dealing with the inner person within me. Because I identify my roots from childhood. We have went through that. I have identified that. So I know I'm still struggling with a little bit. Right? So I know I'm struggling with a lot still. And it just take it on a path of emotionally roller coaster.
That is so correct.
Right? And even if sometimes the emotional roller coaster, like actually going down it, you see you destroy yourself more and more down the rabbit hole. The more you go down the rabbit hole, the more you get lost. And that's my journey right now. Where you gotta separate the emotional side and know what I want.
I agree.
But I know what I want, but still, yeah, the emotional and the soul tie still got you.
The reason why I said agree because
it rifting it like.
The reason why I said I agree is because in this same situation where the casual person, remember I started out by saying he was not the type of person I like. He's not the type of person I would involve myself with, what's not. But because of all of the kindness and the shower of gifts, my emotions took over. So within 2 months of our relationship, obviously we have grown, and within 2 months of our relationship, he at first was friends, and when we first started being involved not sexually, but obviously, involved as in talking and being close to each other. And within 2 months of that aspect of time, he came to me. He said, "I have something to ask you." And in my head, I'm like, "What do you really want to ask me? Like seriously?" Because obviously, I was just going based on my emotions. Not that I was really in love, because he's not the type of person I would have loved. But because of my emotions, I knew what I wanted, and he was at that time providing me with what I want. My emotion was mostly making that decision for me to be with him. So when he come and he was like saying, "I have something to ask you," and in my head, like, "What do you really want to ask me?" And he came by. I said, "Well, okay, come." So he came over by me, and when he came over by me, he proposed to me. Yeah, so this is the first time for those who don't know. Yes, he proposed to me, and in my head, I was like, "What?" You know how the old people they say love who love you, and you hear the small voice telling you.
And then it's something that you speak about that you want.
Yeah, you hear your voice telling you, "Oh, this boy, yeah," and you keep getting this, you get that, this, you can go ahead. But really, truly, my gut feeling, I was talking about your gut feeling before, will tell you this is not the person for you. This is not who you love. So obviously my gut feeling was already telling me it's not gonna work. But because of everything else that was surrounding me at that point in time, because of my emotions, it allowed me to make the decision of saying yes. Yes into the proposal of something that I know that wouldn't have worked. Yes into the proposal of something.
It won't be on a real foundation.
Exactly.
A person will love you and think that it's real, but for you, a part of you won't be there. It won't be real. It'll be still on a fake foundation because the trueness of how it come about. I mean, your true feelings isn't there. So the foundation got cracked and they be shaken, and then later down life where you may wake up and say, you know what, this is not a person for you. So
that is why I'm saying that we should not allow our emotions to have so much power over our gut feeling, over our decision making.
So how you get out to this proposal?
Hey, first let me hear here. So I said,
I seriously, how you get out to this?
Hold on, that's a long story, but Someone said
We know how to
emotion.
summarize it up.
Someone said emotion can cause you to understand things around you. What says you about that? Emotion can cause you to understand things around you.
Emotional can help you understand.
Emotions can cause you to understand things around you.
Interesting. But it can also make you make decisions that you know isn't real.
Correct.
Because if you're impulsive about emotion, like how people in life and alright, that just hurt my head now, like to open it and talk. That just hurt me now.
Please do, because
But
that
and
statement saying emotion could cause you to understand things around you is a very tricky statement.
correct, that way say interested because like
Because sometimes
and
emotion
men
can
and
cause us
men
to
are
be looped about the truth.
yes, and then men are on it a lot on emotions, like
Men act on emotions a lot.
yeah, on emotion decision thinking, like say for a guy, if like say he married or stuff and that things ain't going right, his emotion is actually going on just playing somebody that may be giving him at the present time no drama, no stress, something different than what he get at home. So emotions can be funny because you gotta know the reality of it from the illusion. And a lot of these base it on a lot of illusion because
Exactly.
men do act on emotion because it don't be true. A man would just see a woman and just act on it because um it different, it speaks out to them. They may can't talk to my wife at home, so they'll find somebody that can talk to on the outside. And then they act on that emotion, that and the emotion draw both of y'all close together more and more. Then you think that is love.
Exactly. Some say emotions can be very tricky. So we have to come into the place to realize when to make an immediate decision based on the emotion and when to weigh the pros and cons on that same emotion. It can fool you. At the end of the day,
Right.
emotions can fool
So let
you.
me ask you a question. What advice would you give somebody that been in a relationship for say 5 years and they have a lot of soul ties, they have a lot of history and stuff like that. But you know the truth, you know the reality. You're not in an illusion world. You know the reality of the person will have put on the table, given and stuff like that. What do you what would you advise you give a person to move on anybody out there? What advice would you give somebody to move on permanently without still rekindling the friendship or you're still saying, oh, let me do a night out together and we're not talking about sexual things, no, it does mean like a night out together, you sit down, you eat and laugh and
That
then
will
you go
lead
your
to
way.
sexual attack because you already have feelings.
But I just
Okay.
saying that you go your way, but I
She
mean
wants, for those who's listening to us,
correct.
she's
Give me
asking what advice
you would
will
give
you
someone.
tell someone who is in a relationship with someone who already lay
Was in a relationship for 5 years.
okay, what's in a relationship is someone for 5 years who already laid everything on the table. I don't know what's that everything, probably that they're involved with other people and what's not, but the person laid everything
They're
on the
involved
table.
with somebody
What
else and
advice will you give that person
right, they're saying they
about
can't
moving
settle
on?
down. Yeah.
What advice will you give a person on to move on from someone who already laid everything on the table? Someone said emotional transfer is very dangerous. I really do agree to that. Emotional transfer is very dangerous. That comes back to
But emotion transfer is more like if a person was in a relationship or is in a relationship and then find somebody else and transfer that because the person is not doing that. The person emotion transfer is like if the person finish a relationship, find somebody else, and transfer all the feelings onto that person. You get what I mean? That's emotional transfer, but not emotional transfer.
Understand what? Can you? She wants you to explain. Understand what? She wants you to explain when you say emotional transfer is very dangerous. I do understand what you're saying. I want to touch on it, but I'm gonna let you explain to her because she's taking along the line of someone being involved with someone else. I don't think that's what you're meaning. So let me hear your views on that.
Oh my God, when let me be drinking for the whole show. Whole show I be drinking. Now, I wouldn't say that you're emotionally transformed. I'm just saying that any day, like, you're not liking somebody else. You're just asking how to transition, like, move on with your life. You know it's not right for you, period.
Let me go back to the question you asked about advising someone who was in a relationship with someone for 5 years, who already told them about everything that they lay on the table, what they expect, what they are not going to do, what's not. How I'm going to advise that person that wants to move on with their life, but for some reason cannot move on with their life.
Because you're still stuck with the soul tie and stuff like that.
And they're still stuck with their emotions.
Both. Like,
Really and truly.
The person is still suffering with emotions any day, but I'm just saying, like, how do you move on in your life? Because the person want a marriage, they want somebody that can settle down with, be happy with, not running around. So how does that person transition on with a life? Like,
but really and truly, you now said to me, the person know what they want. And that is the key. That is the key in their decision making.
Right, but
you know what you want.
What they want, but still,
So there is nothing holding you back if you know what you want, and the person already know what you want, and is not aligning to what you want. There's only one decision you can make.
And what is that?
What you think? Okay, so are you going to stay in a relationship with someone?
It's not a relationship.
Listen to me. Are you going to stay in a relationship with someone who do not want nothing that you want? You got this whole long list of things that you want, but and the person have no to all these things. Are you going to stay in that relationship to be unhappy for the rest of your life because of your emotions? Let me say because of your emotion, because your emotion is allowing you to feel that, you know what, I love him, and probably I can treat my list of stuff for him. I'm hoping in the illusion that sometime down the line he will come to grips to understand this is what I want, so I want to change for she. Boo boo. At the end of the day, he already laid on the table what he wants and what he do not want. So there's only one thing you can do in that type of relationship. You have to know what you want. Now, I ain't gonna say it until you walk away, don't walk away. All I'm gonna say is that that person has to know what they want at the end of the day. I always tell everyone, you have two choices. Whatever you choose, you have to live with it. You have to bear whatever consequences that comes with it. So if you want to stay in a relationship, bear everything out. Bear the unhappiness, bear the bear the crazy tears, bear everything that comes, bear the baggage, bear the hurt, bear the pain, bear everything along that line that comes with staying in that type of relationship that you do not want. And if you choose to walk away, then you have to bear the consequences of losing the person. It's only two choices. All two of the choices have consequences. Stay and be unhappy, go and lose the person. Two choices. Someone said, find the value that the person brought into your life and find that value in yourself. So that person is asking your question. So the advice I'm going to give the person is the same value that you see in the person. For whatever reason that you see, whatever you look the person for,
But then it will
find
go
it in
back.
yourself.
But then it will go back to what we would keep saying on this show, right? Sometimes we may know our value or have an idea, right? But what people have spoken over our lives, we think we don't deserve that worth or value any day. Yeah, we say, all right, we deserve this, we deserve marriage and stuff like that, but we still got a compelling voice over us that when people say you ain't good enough, or in case in point, you whole life, people always choose somebody else and not you. So here you question your worth yourself, right? Or everybody you have seen your and this talking from experience, you have seen everybody choose somebody else and not you, but still you're hearing you are a good person, you're a good girl, something that men would actually want. So why is it that nobody choose you but choose other people and it's so you see them fight for somebody else but not for you, for somebody that they say they love. I mean, being realistic and real with yourself with emotions, you'll feel weird. You'll question your worth. And even if you got your worth high, some things start to pick at it and pick it away piece by piece.
And it's me too.
So I'm just saying any day we struggle with these things where people may tell you are saying why did they choose you in the first place because some other reason. So here you feel inferior or bad about yourself. So I mean like it's a lot of negative things cast down on your life. So your words start to be picked way at
But
daily.
it comes back to what you receive. It comes back to what you receive. So if someone tell you you're not worth it, if someone tell you I do not choose it because of whatever aspect of your life, it is what you receive in your spirit. You know, someone can tell me I'm ugly, I can tell them for you I'm ugly, but for me, it's the most beautiful creature on earth. It is what you receive into your spirit. And we need to come into the line where we receive or not receive certain things spoken into our life. I do not receive any negative or anything that I don't want speaking into my life. Energy, it is very important. Words are very important, and it's what we receive into our life that cause our life to become the way it is. I am not receiving nothing that nobody tell me if I want in my life. You can talk to no to the cocoa home and say this about me. If I do not receive it, it cannot operate. It cannot make me feel less woman of myself because I did not receive it.
Correct.
It hold on, someone here saying it is what you need that is more important than the want. It is what you need that is more important than the want. You understand that?
I get that.
Okay.
I get that.
So someone said that's why we need to find that value, learn it, and become it. That's how you outgrow the person. Find the value, learn the value, become the. I like that. Find the value, learn the value, and become the value. And that's how you outgrow the person.
Why everybody looking at me like?
I don't know what else you want to ask.
No, but that's saying like personally you struggle with stuff, so I'm guessing any day. And even if you find your value and you learn your value, there's always something that picks at it the end of the day. So everybody is sit there and be like quoting things, but deep down underneath we all struggle with stuff. We all struggle with stuff. We all question our work at some point in time. I have seen people quote things, say stuff, but the still struggling behind the scenes. So I'm being real and realistic and saying, hey, any day you may know your value, you may learn it, but still, yeah, you still have things within yourself that pick at it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether somebody has spoken the words, even if you say you're not receiving it, and every day you tell yourself, well, you're not what the person say, or you just see that people choose other people but not you. I'm just saying any day. You're being real with your emotions and yourself. And I know that sometimes we emotionally make decisions for us and let us travel down a road that we shouldn't be on so long. And then God is be showing you all the time. Like for me, God is be showing me all the time, this is not the road I want you to travel on. So you see that you is on an emotionally roller coaster of a serious one that destructive or could destroy your own self, traveling along on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, and I being real with me, or my feelings, or my honesty. And so then even if you be real and be with your honesty and your emotions, people see you as in like
Weak.
you're moody. You know the words of Michelle women is like you're moody, you're bipolar, you're whatever, but you're just being real with yourself. And I think a lot of us don't be real with yourself. We just be quoting things. I get how people be quoting things and sit here on IG and Facebook and message all the lovely things, but we still struggle deep down within ourselves.
We struggle, but we only struggle because we allow ourselves to stay in that circumstances. We have to know what we want at the end of the day. We have to know when it's time is enough. When enough is enough. We have to know when it's time to get up, take out your bag and go. We have to know at the end of the day. You have to know. So, yes, I get about the sautés, and as I say, like an egg, it is difficult sometimes to break. But if we are determined that we know what we want, if we determined that we just want the egg white, we can stand there and we can pick out every little piece of yolk that drop in the egg white. Very done. And what will happen at the end? Then we can still have the egg white and not the yolk. So we have to be determined to know what we want and when we want it. So I come back to say that sometimes we fall into the trap of making. We come back into the sometimes we can fall into the trap of making important decisions in the heat of the moment when emotions are clearly unbalanced. So sometimes our emotions can be very, very unbalanced. I want to say something at the end. Can be very, very unbalanced. Unbalanced emotions are hardly ever rational. In my emotional state, I rationalize deceiving someone else who showed genuine interest in me, and that comes back to my experience. And that's what you do with emotions. When circumstances arise, you have to know when to rationalize your emotions. So I rationalize deceiving someone who showed interested in me. I rationalize that physical and verbal abuse at the hands of another person. I will touch on that later, another session. I rationalize that physical and verbal abuse at the hands of a man possibly meant he still cared for me. I made a decision to marry when I cannot even find my heart. So somehow we are in a relationship and we want to say yes to someone. And I ain't talking about to marriage now. I'm just talking about yes to a relationship. When really truly we have found we heart, we have found we place yet. We have found who we are yet. But yet we want to give somebody else we heart, but we can't find we heart. We heart missing, we heart broken. We want to give the person a broken heart, a broken piece. How is that possible? Have you found your heart, boo? She have to think. So
Well, being honest, like totally, I totally get what you're saying. Like we do the whole broken, like in the past to come out relationships and it broken, and then you find somebody thinking that they will fix it or will get better over the time, and we place your whole heart into the person
and
hand.
that whole is still broken.
Yeah, but say we place one pieces in the person hand, but for me right now, like personally, is like I try not to do the whole emotional thing now. So I try to find new ways to deal with stuff and see which one work for me. So now it's like, as you would have said, um, not answering certain questions or hearing certain words and receiving it within yourself. Um, I have seen my worth and value a lot. I have updated my value, my worth. I know what I want, and you will have like daily you see yourself outgrow things that you would normally stay for. You outgrow them.
Somebody said most women are bipolar. I can laugh you to answer he. Most women are bipolar because they are emotional, especially cancer. So I guess maybe
The horoscope signs.
horoscope you is.
I'm a Cancer.
I know that. I know you are a cancer. That's why I tell you I left to answer him. But he said most women are bipolar. I don't really think that we are bipolar.
No, you're bipolar. I just think that we share our emotions more than men. Men don't really tell.
I said that we just know what we want
Yes,
to.
we. I say like for women, just say what they want up front. The say that emotions
Exactly.
like a man is be like. They know they don't really like with us, or we are just here for sex, or whatever reason, or they can't find your personality and other people, right? So they're still holding on to that person, but deep down they know that in the future they can't give you what you want, or they can't be the person that you know you need, right? So they do the whole like, oh yes, and be game anything things in your head like, oh yes, and be a future down your line if this maybe.
Exactly.
So you hold on to the maybes, right?
Yes, we our decision correct. Based on what you say, so we're not bipolar.
So yes, you may know your emotion, but say you holding on to the maybe, you still holding on to the word that would say, oh, I see a future with you, I see marrying you down your line. So you still holding on on the maybe, and you still holding on to their words, right? So that's what I'm talking about, where the person may still be saying, or I'll tell everybody this or whatever the case. So you still holding on to the word, you still holding on to the soul ties of what the person would have said, knowing or seeing that at the end of the day, this person will never be the person that you know you deserve or want. Because men don't be truthful. Men has got women and be like, he telling you one thing, he telling a woman next thing, the woman think that two women in love, the other person think that one in love, but he may be telling one person, but I don't really like shit. I'm sorry, that's here for whatever season or journey, right? So you still holding on to what the person says. So it be like emotionally. So I would more say men make women bipolar.
You hear that? She said men make women
Men make women bipolar.
So
because we don't know what we want, but still yet they're saying something contradictory to everything that we know, like anything that we know that they will never give us.
I mean, go with it.
I just go with it. So we be conflicted.
What make you do that?
We be conflicted. We be like, yes, I know I want this, but still yet we holding on for what a man says. So a man met women bipolar.
So one says Psalms 37 verse 4. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thy heart.
Listen, people that quote the Bible and they're not being disrespectful, right? But as you want to keep saying on this show, yes, people quote Bibles, we understand. But if you don't understand things properly, how would you know what is desire of your heart, or how do you know what to look for? We can quote the Bible, we can say I can quote the Bible, I can go back and say Psalms 1 blessed man walking on the continent of God. I can recite a Bible. I have got licks for reciting Bible from primary school. I'm telling you. So every day, the teacher was a religious person, and we had to learn. I know all the signs by heart, one to wherever it go right up. Mom just saying, we quote Bibles. People tell you, oh, wait on God. The devil hear your prayer too. The devil is saying people to distract you that you know ain't for you, but it seems so real. It seems so right. You will not on these words that are being said that it may be a future or something like that. And we know what the Bible speaks of love. It does not puff up. It does not do all these things. But any day, let us be real. When we sell, we all struggle with stuff.
He said a real cancer answer.
But I'm being real. Like the any day, men women bipolar.
So I said no one needs anyone if we are honest. We want people because it's easy to live in a picture. I don't understand that.
You let me drink all the drink. I don't understand.
I don't understand that. You have to explain that because at some point in
Let me
time,
read that again.
at some point in time in your life, you need someone, and not only talking about relationship. At some point in time, we may need our mother, we may need our father, we may need our daughter, our son, our sisters, our brothers, our friend. At some point of time in our life,
I guess if for me, we would have been spoken about this on the show. People need to be honest with themselves first. And we keep speaking about this in it's come back up. Because everything is like a connection. People don't be honest with themselves, so they can't be honest with other people. And they think that men in general, right, and women too, need to be honest with themselves. Be truthful with yourself. If you know you don't like a person that's sorry, tell the person up front and don't have somebody connected or have someone emotionally so tied to you. And you would have done it just now when you talk about your story. You will have led on somebody, and we will talk about that letting on somebody. The person buy into that emotion and so tight connected to you and went all the way to propose to you. So I'm just saying we need to be truthful with ourselves. If we know we don't like somebody that way and we know we can't give them what we need in the future, then say so upfront. Don't speak words that you know you are never going to do in the future or revisit because you are afraid to lose the person or lose whatever the person may be giving you. We don't talk about money or sexual stuff. I mean like maybe personality or vibe or aura is something you may can't find in somebody else, so you're still holding up on that. So I'm just saying everybody needs to be honest with themselves.
yeah.
And stop telling people stuff and then saying that women are a man, vice versa, and I'm being fair today that we saying women bipolar. We can't be bipolar at the end of the day.
She gonna keep,
You vice versa.
She gonna keep on that one.
Yeah, you're vice versa. You speaking life in the universe.
I'm still here trying to understand what he's saying. I'm trying to understand that. I will hope that he's trying to say that
I guess if he's trying to say no one needs anybody, I guess he may say like how we may look at it.
No, I'm trying to understand that he's saying like how someone always think that has to be in a relationship. I hope that is what you're meaning.
Okay.
That's not, they got some people who are when one relationship then they have to jump in another one because they do not
I know
ever
about that. They never heal.
Correct.
They don't heal. They don't give themselves a break or anything like that.
They cannot see themselves being alone
by
themselves for a month or 2 months. So they'll always have to.
I know what I spoke about that in the session too, where you have men out there that they have a personal woman, but they've got 2 women or 3 women filtered. So if you don't work out, the other one in the line just filtering. But that person still doing emotional transfer. That person have not even healed. Period. They are still connected, and so ties is so funny. And we don't analyze soul ties, you know. So then we find out people that from the past that come into your future, and you just click like this again because we have not cut that soul tie completely from the umbilical cord. Period. We have so much soul ties connected to us. We don't cut. Yes, we don't cut them off. We have so much soul ties connected to us, still carrying on. Somebody may be married or move on, but here's somebody from your past come along, and there you go. The soul tie is so strong, and Soul toys can also do an emotional, because we mix up the two with soul toys and how we emotional with it. So sometimes people are may need to like give themselves a break and cut things off. Period.
Yeah, he said yes. That's what he meant. What he was saying. Which I do understand, because at some point in time, I think we all struggle with that. You know, we have this illusion, as we said before, we have this illusion with we don't want to be single, and we want to have this person, and every time somebody comes, we always want to take the risk and give them the chance. And I have here that somehow that alone we lead on our own fear of being alone sometimes. Because of our emotions, it leads us into the path of fear. That's what our emotion does.
But then, should we say it's fear to people?
Hold on.
That we leaning on?
But not that we leaning on to the fear. Our emotion gives us the illusion. It's not really that the part that we lean on the person, and we do not really what the exact words I want to put there. It's not really the person aspect of it. It's just that because of our emotions, it causes fear to come into our life, and we are feared to be alone. So we go ahead and give the person a chance, not knowing, not weighing the pros and cons, not looking back to see if there is a good fit.
And then what you was spoke about, then you start to buy in to that connection. Because if you know you're not supposed to be there, and you just going along with every
but sometimes they don't know because of their emotions.
Right, but before you going on, like every man or woman, or we speaking like for a man going along, saying every woman, you just doing these connections and putting here because this person don't give you the whole 100%, so you find a 10 and somebody a 50 and 25, but you putting all these people together, you find all these people to think you're not being true to yourself or real to yourself. And there you are dragging on people onto your emotional journey, on your emotional roller coaster, because people's gonna buy into thinking that is real on their side, and you would have spoken at just now, where you push your emotions onto somebody, it wasn't real, but because that's what you was looking
that's
for,
what I wanted, exactly.
You pushed that on, but the person took it for a realness, and you would have do a connection now. So what does that person say to that? Like if they're know they're out there having multiple relationships, isn't it time to be truthful to people? Or you just got people leading on thinking that, hey, what is all these soul connections and soul ties?
So I here want to know what is soul ties. I think we really need to touch on that next week. And that is a very deep topic.
That take like 2 hours search.
Which is a very
soul
deep
ties
topic.
Is so, and I remember you had your show the playing with Found the Word for Me, and the lady Margaret
Brady, yes.
She would have spoke also that was so deep to me. It still touched me. And she would have talked about soul. So it also with the portal of our vaginas. That our vaginas are portals also, that be careful who we open up to and let in. And they see that, and then soul ties are dangerous too. And having sex with people and people have like other people before, something to transfer those people's spirits and demons onto you. And I think that's something that we really need to talk about.
Let me put it down in layman terms, or in an easier term for you to understand. You know, you will hear the term of energy. And somehow where you are in a circle with a type of people, or type of characters, I will call them, their energy level automatically cause your energy level to operate. So if you're in a circle with someone, and they are getting on a particular type of beer, then eventually you will get on that type of way.
Correct.
If you're in a circle with someone, with a couple of people who are always angry, how can you expect to be happy? You have it. people around you every day, angry, complaining. At the end of the day, what gonna happen? You gonna start to complain. You gonna start to be angry. Even if it's with the same people you angry or complaining about, you're gonna pick up their energy level. If you are in a circle with someone who doesn't want anything in life, and you struggling to get this and that in life, you will realize that at the end.
I just want to ask what Dexter is laughing at and saying, shaking my head, haha. No such thing, speak enlighten us what you are speaking about.
You will.
And also, I just want to touch this part. Read the Bible, understand it, then you understand people. We understand the Bible very well, especially when we talk about the 12 disciples and stuff like that. So if you read the Bible, understand people, then all of us won't be in the situations that all of us in, right? Because I guess that still would have been a situation to himself. I don't
That's
know.
so we have been in a situation.
Okay, so I just say if you read the Bible too, he won't be in a situation, he won't understand people, right?
But I'm guessing that we are speaking to Christians and non-Christians as well.
Right.
So for those,
I understand, but just saying.
yeah, and I'm
that.
telling you, so for those who don't even know about the Bible, we will now have to come back
Right.
and have a session alone to talk about the Bible. And the Bible will take more than
A long time.
3 or 4 or 5 sessions. But in every session, we will try to enlighten the non-Christians and people who will not know about the Bible.
No, that so I believe in the Bible. Okay,
What
so
is it?
don't that if I believe in the Bible. That so I don't think he was watching the whole life, right? It just I'm saying being truthful. I have been around and I grew up in the church. We have grown up in the church, correct?
Yeah.
We have been surrounded by Christian people all of our lives, still do. Um, and credit to your mom, which she would have learned you Bible in different ways and still been playing a big part onto my life all to today. But I'm just saying, any day, I've been realistic where I have been around Christians that speak and quote Bibles very well, but they do struggle with stuff everyday life. So they're still out there, they're still putting things out there, that's quoted. Could be speakers and all sorts of different things. And I being realistic, I have been around them, still do be around them, but we do struggle with stuff and we are afraid to tell people we do struggle with stuff because we don't want nobody to think or look at us different. So I'm being real on Facebook with my emotions. I can only speak for myself and what I've been
Another
through.
perspective,
Correct.
people. That's the
I
name
can
of
only
the
speak for what
topic.
I've been through. I have no problem, but I have got lashes for in primary school, so I know the songs by heart because that was embedded into me. So I'm just saying that in my perspective of being around people. I have seen people, we all don't be truthful to ourselves, we do not be truthful to ourselves, and we don't be truthful to people. Period. And Christine was saying something the bias would be on the main case. So that's why I'm gonna say men and women we're men and women do stuff together, but I'm just saying I can only speak from my experiences and my point of view, the way that I'm seeing right now. But I do try to understand everybody's perspective and how everybody sees stuff. I do go away from the life and take note and look at everything differently. So yes, I do believe in soul ties, or I do believe it does exist, and I do believe in the Bible.
Right. So that's a fact. It's true. So it comes back. We are still closing. It comes back to say that our emotion weakness can leave us in a way of destruction and find us on our way back, whether it's to another relationship or friendship or what's not. It leads us back with emotional scars and a back broken down by negative baggage. So when we are weak in our emotion, when we make harsh decisions based on our decisions, based on our emotions, then that also gives us a negative baggage.
And I'm going to be honest here, I do believe in the emotional baggage because I do struggle with it. So I'm being truthful. I do struggle with emotional baggage, like what was said to me, and just piece by piece, I'm learning to just leave it there completely and not traveling it with me into a next relationship, or because I have seen and identified that the load is extremely heavy. So I'm being truthful here, where you do struggle with emotionally baggage, what was said previously, your roots, your childhood years, previous relationships. And then we would have spoke about sometimes if we don't hear what is in us, we go and find a different person, but the same demons we're going to be dealing with. Not in the same word, but I said that. If we don't heal,
I just had to laugh at how you put it.
Seriously,
You
like
said demons.
correct. If we don't heal what is inside of us, we're gonna pick up a different person, but the same drama and situation, and we're gonna keep going over and over it. We would have spoke about this privately, where we would have identified where are we keep choosing the same identity of people all the time, because if you be real, sometimes we have a pattern relationship, right? Like we put it here, we have pattern relationship. We like you'll find out you like in one style of person all the time.
And that is why, that is why I come back to say that if you have been down a road several times, the same type of road, the same type of people
Something
you are,
need to be done.
then really and truly, it does not come from external. It comes from internal.
Right. Now, it's
At
if
the
we
end of
don't
the day,
fix what is inside
so
of us,
really and truly,
we're gonna keep repeating the same mistake
exactly
over and over.
It is internal. The defect is an internal one. If we keep going down the same type of road all the time, we cannot continue to blame that body was not this body and that. If you look back at your past and you realize that something have not been working out, no matter how much you try with this body, that body, then eventually you have to stand in the mirror and look at yourself.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I always say we are the common denominators in our life, in our decision makings. We are the common denominators.
Come on, Dexter.
What you said?
Right.
12 years, but I got my heart, emotional hurt, 12 years ago. I know we're talking about, but I know we're talking about that.
But I just saying, like,
we would love to hear. We would love to hear about
But
that.
I'm just saying, I'm being real myself.
We would love to
like,
hear about that. Dexter.
So for me,
he said Hank, but we would love to hear about that Hank Dexter.
So for me, I try to identify my roots, my childhood. The reason why.
Addison said I can leave before I have like this up. But we enjoy the comments, we enjoy the feedback. That is what makes it such a great session. Correct. Because we are all here like to learn. Session do. It's from another perspective. Our live show is called From Another Perspective. Correct. So we are taking everyone's perspective.
Real life issues is real.
Into consideration.
I ain't come here to fit, but I being real myself, so I being real with me, and I also being real with everybody that's watching. So it's nothing to hide. So I'm just saying, for me personally, I need to go away again, and identify the reason why am I still attracting certain stuff into my life.
Wait, I gotta tie him. Wait, hold on. I understand. So come on. So I come out and say allowing faulty or defective emotions to dictate how we live our lives will eventually lead us responding in panic and anxiety. Trying to appease someone, we should, in fact, be kicking out of our life.
Hi, Cora, we miss you. Anyway.
So she asked for the advice. So this is
Correct.
the piece that I'm going to say.
Right.
That allowing faulty or defective emotion. This is an advice I'm going to give to the person that wants to know what they should do.
Right.
Allowing faulty or defective emotions to dictate how we live our lives will eventually lead us to respond in panic and anxiety, trying to please someone we should in fact be kicking out of our lives and sinking into dark, depressing thoughts. The impact can only ever be negative on our health and our remaining relationship.
So we're avoiding the person to hit the person to the curb, right?
I personally don't tell the person what to do, okay?
Oh, no, that's if
I'm just
like
telling
that's
you.
a step.
I'm going to tell you
to the
the
curb.
consequences and what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. The impact can only ever be negative on our health and remaining relationships. Simply put, you are setting yourself up for a disappointment.
Correct. And that's so true. I disappoint myself like that.
Like a ship on troubled waters, you keep being tossed side to side, back to front, collecting water that will eventually cause you to sink.
Right, so we're gonna be advising, not really advising, but we're just being like truthful with ourselves. We're gonna go away and really answer ourselves, like to be truthful with ourselves and to people. I encourage people to go away and do that. Be truthful to yourself and to others, because it's not fair to someone else that if you're lying to them or having them string along or speaking words that you know you can't be or you wouldn't be to them, to be speaking that into their lives.
Like a ship on troubled waters, you keep being tossed side to side, back to front, collecting water that will eventually cause you to sink. The good news is that there is an anchor for your emotions, and you need something to base your emotions on.
Correct.
Something sure and steady to cover your thoughts and your feelings. Positive affirmations that you can use to wash and renew your mind. And such affirmations can also be found, as Dexter would have said, in the Word of God. Sometimes we can draw inspiration from the lives and testimonies of healthy role models, persons who have vision about fear and conquer their own challenge. Ultimately, these affirmations are to help you to readjust your self perception so that it falls in line with the perception that God, your Creator, has of you. They are to help you discover or rediscover your identity and your worth.
Alright, so we're gonna leave that with you all guys. Next week we're gonna come back and we're gonna go into a little deeper topics like soul toys and have a different perspective on soul
But
toys.
before I go, I promise you.
Okay.
Yes.
What?
said I get left with her off this week. I'll pass again next week. Okay. we gonna hold you to your word. Kick the person to the curve if you have the power to.
That's Cora.
No, this is Addison. This is Addison again. Hello. But any real footballer knows the harder the kick, the more the backlash is. I can help the men have a word. That's what Addison said. So yes, we want to hear the men. So before we go, I'm gonna leave your quote as neutral. But before the quote, what I wanted everyone to do is get a piece of paper at some point during the week. It no matter which day you choose. Get a piece of paper. Hold on, I'm looking for it.
It's not working.
No.
None.
I want you to get a piece of paper and find one person in your life, one person in your life that you will, that probably hurt you or did you wrong, or someone that.
Wait, I heard this one.
Yeah, you say, yeah, you have a seat. Get a piece of paper. Anytime during the week, whatever you want to do, get a piece of paper and a pen. It has to be handwritten, okay? I want it handwritten. I do not want it typed. You get this piece of paper, a pen, and choose someone in your life, whether it was in your past, whatever, someone that you have not probably let go of, or someone that still keep coming up in your mind, or something that you're still holding on to because of this particular person. Get this letter, and I want you to write a letter of gratitude to the person. Realize I say gratitude, not I say I hate you because you do this to me or you do that to me. I want you to write a letter of gratitude in recognition to the person who, in your opinion, have hurt you at some point in your life, or someone that you're holding on to that you probably want to let go of. Write this letter. You're not going to give the person a letter, but this is called step, okay, to breaking your emotional roller coaster ride. So you're gonna write this letter of gratitude. Before you sit down and you write this letter, you must cleanse yourself from all negative emotions towards this person. So this is where the second paper comes in. If you start to write the gratitude letter and you realize all you are feeling is still hate, still pain towards this person, I want you to take the second paper and I want you on this second paper to write all of the resentment, everything that you feel against this person, the resentment, the anger, the feelings, everything, the pain, the hurt, everything on this other piece of paper. And then I want you to burn it or shred it into fine pieces. But I normally see it say burn it because when you shred it into pieces, it can still blow. When you burn it completely, it burns. It is dissolved. So I want you to write all the resentment on her on this piece of paper, burn it to get her all of your feelings, all of your emotional roller coaster rides, all of your emotions, burn it on that paper, and then go back and write the letter of gratitude. It is important not to feel any hostility towards this person when you write the letter of gratitude to him, her, your mother, your father, your children, your friend, whoever the person is. It is important not to feel the hostility. Your letter, as I said, must be handwritten. It is important because it's coming from here.
Right.
It's coming from inside of you. So it has to be handwritten. When you do that, on that letter of gratitude, you must write all of the forgiveness to the gratitude. On the same gratitude letter, write I forgive you, this, whatever you want.
What did you say to yourself too? Forgive to yourself?
Yes, you can start with say I forgive my, but
I
if you're gonna
forgive
say I
myself.
forgive myself, please write your full name. So you say I, Christine Anita Nicole, forgive myself completely and with love.
Correct.
Okay? And you write that letter of gratitude to that person. You don't have to give the person, but it's gonna call you to break the yaw of your
Right.
emotion roller coaster ride.
Burn it, guys. Burn it.
To burn the other paper of the resentment, the hurt, and
Right.
everything
Burn it,
that the
guys.
person has did to you. Please burn it, and then you go ahead and write your letter of gratitude to the person that hates you. I leave with you. So I say, so you want everyone to write a novel? No, please. As I said, you're only going to choose one person at this point of time.
Listen, choose one person daily. Write the novel.
So I know you may have
It's
4 or
time
5
to
or 6
burn.
people.
It's time to burn them, guys.
I
Burn.
know, I know you may have a lot of people that you probably have some resentment against or that hurt you.
Burn
But
them.
for right now, we are choosing one person that is still taking you on an emotional roller coaster ride. And I want you to choose one person and do that. Not a Nova Anderson. That sister, you can take 2 Panadol first and rate it. If that what you have to do that, so please take 5 Panadols and you write that letter of gratitude. That's I am not talking about the pictures, okay? I'm I am talking about all of the hair and hair that you are still carrying. Because you wear the picture of the person does not mean that you still do not have some type of resentment against that person. So if you start to write the letter of gratitude to the person, please call their full name in the letter. If you start to write it and you still have some form of resentment, if you realize that you cannot write the gratitude letter, then it means you're still writing from a place of hurt. I want you to write all the hurt the person gives you. And that is what you're going to burn. The hate. You're going to burn the hurt. You're going to burn the pain. You're going to burn every single thing out of your life so that you can have a more clear path, a better journey, a successful journey, that your path could be a more brighter future. Okay?
Because guys, I need to meet my future husband, please. So start burning.
So this evening, I want to thank everyone for locking in to us. As usual, remember that our emotions must not have power in our decision making. I leave with you this quote. Respect and love yourself enough to walk away from anyone that adds no growth or happiness to your life. Respect and love yourself to know that God loves you and has a